and get your joy up. Embrace this brand new day. Let light and love fill you up. Get your morning cup of jubilee. So much goodness waiting, so much overflow. All this anticipation. Morning cup of jubilee. Faith, love, and joy, the equation. Feeding your soul, you're amazing. Daily you're celebrating. Morning cup of jubilee.
You are tuned in to Morning Cup of Jubilee, and this is the play of the day. Get into it.
Don't come out until when I free your heart and save yourself until when I free your heart and don't come out until when I free your heart and save yourself until when I free your heart and
Today's Jubilee Jewels is all around embracing the gray. I know, it's not really the color crayon you'd pick from the box, but let me tell you why you should probably pick it. There's a beautiful place in between the valley and the mountaintop. It's the gray. It's the place where you feel like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. This journey is just too much. It's challenging, but it's also the place where you learn the most. It's a beautiful place. There's a place of celebration in the in-between. If you can learn to look at it as a space where you're going to gather some lessons, some jewels, where you're going to be stronger, wiser, more confident, embrace the gray. Don't try to erase the gray. Embrace the gray. Hey, listen, I'm so excited. We have Brandon Watts in the building. Exceptional creative, phenomenal producer. Brandon, what's good?
What's good? I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me here.
Of course. Welcome to Morning Cup of Jubilee.
This is awesome.
Listen, I just want to fill the people's cups. That's all I want to do, right?
Understood.
Get people good and ready to go for their day. So tell me how you start your day. What does a regular day look like for you in the life of Brandon Watts?
Awesome. So I wake up fairly early. And I have about a 45-minute drive into work. So wake up in the morning, freshen up, brush your teeth, wash your face,
Do all the
showers
things.
and all of that good stuff. And then I drive home. I drive to work, listening to music or meditating a little bit, trying to plan out my day, see whatever messages got sent to me throughout the night or whatever, and
That's it.
make my way to work. Yeah.
Nice and calm. What's on your playlist though? Like what gets you going?
What gets me
Let
going?
me tell you something though. My playlist crazy. Like I got a lot of Afro beats on there.
Yeah.
And it's never too early for me to blast my music on 1,000. Right? Like you can stare and you can get annoyed if you would like, but my car, my world.
That
So
part.
when you're in your car, your world, what's on your playlist rocking out?
Ooh, that's a tough question. 'Cause it really just depends on how I feel. I literally go, what, do I feel like listening to country or some Pakistani Sufi music or
Well, you gotta teach me about that.
or some Fred Hammond? You feel me? It just
Fred.
depends. I really just gauge how I feel before I hit that place. Or throw a podcast on, catch up on some sports or something like that.
That's true.
Sometimes, music, I need a break too, because when I hear music, I'm thinking of what I would have done differently or something like that. So
True.
it all depends, but everything on 1,000.
Everything on 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a blaster
Yeah,
too.
that's my coffee.
That's your coffee.
Yeah.
Do you drink coffee like in real
No.
life? No. You don't drink tea.
No, caffeine, I'd be on 1 billion.
You be on 1 billion.
I can't do it.
Gotcha. So it sounds like you like to kind of ease into your morning. You got your playlist. You got your music. Why do you get up?
Why do I get up?
Why do you go? Why do you get going in the morning? What's your why?
That's easy. It's always something to learn from each day. Every single day is a new adventure, a new experience. I could have said one word different and the whole day play out. And I like to reflect, journal on that at the end of the night. and say, okay, I did this time. You know, treat it like a objective based game. It's fun.
Did you say journal?
Yeah.
Talk about this, because you were a man, a black man, and you journal. Like, how did you get into that, and how does it support you in your journey?
So living in Anne Arundel County, public schools, they made us journal.
Wow.
From kindergarten. Yeah. So we'd always write about what we did the day before, and it's just been embedded in me.
Wow. So you do that every day?
Every single day.
I love it.
I at least put a sentence down with the date on it each day.
I love it. I'm a journal person too. I got too many journals. I'm using all of them and none of them at the same time.
I don't know. It kind of shows you where you are. You can look back. I feel like reflecting is always amazing because I don't naturally reflect. But if I have it written out, I can say, okay, I sound like a dummy 5 years ago. You know what I mean? And my mind process was a lot different of how I received things and process things, you know.
It shows you your growth as well. Like, that's for me. Like, sometimes I'm in a moment and I can't process it without writing it down.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like when somebody's like, how do you feel? It's like, I don't know. I don't really know how I feel. Let me just take a moment to kind of journal, and then through journaling, I figure out how I feel.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
You know, so life is an adventure. Life is a learning opportunity.
Always.
And so give us 2 lessons. You want to share like 2 lessons that you've learned in life that you can't Google it. There's no way to fast forward it. There's no cheat code. You learned it in your life and you would want to share it with others.
Well, you said 2?
Yeah.
Well, 1, you just gotta be willing to learn everything. Find interest in everything. Like, I'm looking at a pillow and I'm like, how did they make that pattern? Why did they make that pattern? You gotta be interested in everything. And they don't really tell you that on Google. It's just kind of like, it's up to you. You have to find interest in everything at some point, because that'll help fuel your creativity, 1, and it'll help fuel your understanding and your vibrance for life, your excitement for it, you know?
For sure. So it's like, as a creative, right, and as a creative that's a black male, like, what do you think we could do better or more of to encourage like other creatives, other black males to journal, to talk about mental health? Like,
what could we do? We could, I don't know. The one thing I know we can do, we can encourage them to just let them know it's okay to be different. You know? I know it looks like you want to be in the club. That's what everybody's doing. And hey, it's fun. Don't get it twisted. And the right people, the right vibe, it's a good time.
Why not?
You know what I'm saying? But when that becomes who you are, or you need to validate yourself because you bought the most bottles or you got the most women in your section or something like that.
Wow.
That's one thing. Validate them on that point. And then look into different things, different cultures, why. Because you get a broader understanding on why we are here on this earth, the more you understand the different people on this earth.
Yeah, I love that. I think it's powerful, because what I hear you saying is like, it's beyond the surface, right? There's too many things that are superficial, and we're not getting to like know ourselves. So like, when do you feel like you met yourself? Like, Brandon the man, like, when do you feel like you met you?
I met me.
And who is that?
I met me when I pretty much got kicked out of college. I was down for like a year. Because when I went away to school, people was like, yo, Brandon's about to do big things. He's good at sports. He does music. He's funny, da-da-da-da. I was like, oh, my God, I let everybody down. We had a big graduation party when I graduated high school, because they was like, yo, you going to college? You going to do it for the fam? I felt like a lot of weight on me as an 18-year-old, you know? And I didn't do too well. I wasn't disciplined enough, and I couldn't really focus because it was so much. So much distractions. I was an athlete. It was fun. I'm in a place where nobody knew me, so I could just, whatever. But about that year, I was like, dang, what do I want to do? I wasn't really into music as far as playing wise when I was a teenager or whatever. I think I dropped out or got kicked out when I was 20. I was like, I wasn't really that into music. I didn't even realize that this was a field or you know what I'm saying? This was 33. This is 13, 14 years ago. So it wasn't Twitter, Instagram, all of this stuff popping. So I was like, what am I supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was like, I'm gonna just sit in my room and play my guitar.
Sitting up in my room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sit up in my room and play my guitar, and I was just like, every morning, I'm just gonna try to get better at something. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try to learn. If it's learn a language, study some psychology, or read some poetry, or study astronomy, or whatever, and then learn music. I just was like, it'll come to me.
Yeah.
Whatever it needs to be will come to me.
Do you feel like you settled, or do you feel like you bumped into where you were supposed to be?
I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing for right now, but I think, I know I'm supposed to be doing more. So I can never settle.
Gotcha. What do you feel like is the more for you?
More maybe in just bringing people together and maybe helping them to look inward more.
Yeah.
Finding something that they really feel and making them explore themselves more to where it comes out.
Yeah.
In a positive way. That makes sense.
Of course it does. And so if you were to go back to, and now I'm not a regret person, right? Like I know people are like, oh, what would you say to your younger self? Like in a way that, with almost like they want you to fix it.
Right.
So I'm not with that. However, if you could go back and talk to 20-year-old Brandon, right? All this promise, all this purpose, feel like you let your family down, all of that. What would you say to him? From your 33-year-old space.
What would I say?
Yeah.
I would say this is good. This is good, bro.
What? Yes.
This is good. Like you're gonna really appreciate it down the road. Wow. You know, you're gonna,
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying. The fact that you feel that way, that means you care. That means that you want to do better. Keep that same fire. Always keep that chip on you because it's good. When you feel like you failed, you're like, okay, well, I need to get to a point where I'm satisfied. And that may never come, but that's perfect because you're developing yourself along the way without even realizing it. Until you really reflect, like I said, with your journal or whatever, and you're like, 5 years ago I was tripping on that, but now that didn't even bother me now.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a whole nother place. It's like I said, I don't really reflect most of the time. That's why I have to write stuff down.
Gotcha.
So when I do reflect, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? This journey is so dope, man. It's so everybody's got their own vibe, their own journey.
Yeah.
And it worked for me.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it. It sounds like you have made peace with it. Because, you know, people go through things in life and 5 years later, 10 years later, 20 years later, they still like, damn, but if I only did this.
Yeah.
If I only thought this way. And it's like, yeah, but you couldn't have.
No.
Because you weren't there at that time.
If you would have been at that point, if you would have thought that or whatever situation you think you might have been in, you weren't equipped to handle it. You weren't.
You just weren't. And like just making peace with that, I think is a beautiful thing. So like your story is beautiful to me for that. Like you appreciate your journey, right? The ups, the downs, and all of those things. So how do you keep your mind right? Like what are 3 things that you feel like bring you joy on a daily?
Music, of course. Then the outside world, just looking at the trees move, looking at anything. Yeah. Whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Like nature.
Nature. I mean, it's a lot of things I like, you know what I'm saying? But I would say life in general, seeing the process of just a person coming from a child to an adult, and then they're understanding what it is they're supposed to be doing in this world or trying to find it. Yeah. Just the journey in general is exciting.
Have you ever mentored like young kids or what have you?
Yeah, I would say I used to teach at school. Well, pretty much a music school when I was a kid. I was a kid myself. I was
you
like
were
20.
A kid teaching?
I was like, I say kid, I was like 21.
Gotcha.
I was like 21, but it was dope. I couldn't get with because I could never get with people like coming to me and making an excuse why they didn't practice. I was like,
what
I don't care.
Like all you have is time. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you have nothing else. You just didn't want to do it. So I see that off the rip. I'm like, if you just don't want to do it, why are you wasting my time? And I couldn't process that when I was 21. So I would get frustrated. I was like, I'm telling you all of this and you don't take it home. But me as an older man, you know what I'm saying?
You get it.
A little bit of gray hair.
Little gray hair.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I get it. You know, maybe they couldn't really process it all the way. So maybe they needed a break and their brain was fried. You know, it's cool. But
That was like the passion.
Yeah, what was the other question?
I just asked you, like, did you ever like mentor or teach?
Oh,
But it
yeah.
sounds like it's a passion of yours.
And another thing was right before COVID hit 2020 in January.
Yeah.
Before they shut down the borders, we were in Africa, me and a team of homies.
Love it.
We was in Africa, Cameroon. I say Africa, that's a big old continent. That's like saying I was in North America. I was in Cameroon.
Oh, we get it.
Cameroon and Sierra Leone, and just teaching. We taught music to teenagers, adults. It was
Beautiful.
so dope, man.
Wow.
We went to this school that was like, we had to go deep in the woods or whatever you want to call it, the jungle. I was like, where we at? Is no running water, you know what I'm saying? But we pull up. These kids, they like grabbing us, hugging us like we Chris Brown or something. I'm like, oh my God, this is what it's all about. They really appreciated us doing that.
Yeah. I mean, of course, we have children in America.
Yeah.
And I still, my kids laugh at me because they're like, Mommy, we know what you're going to say. There's starving kids like around the world. There's starving kids in Africa and elsewhere. And it's like, all right, we'll eat our food. It's like, but I think the reason why parents for all these years say stuff like that is because you don't know you don't know how blessed you are.
Yeah.
Until you go elsewhere and you're like, wait, they don't have that. I'm sitting here whining because of my PS5 won't charge or whatever.
I feel like they have more than us.
Ooh, say that.
They definitely have more than us. They are so close. I'll tell you one thing, they did not care about smelling like no roses or nothing like that.
Wow.
They passed that.
Wow.
They like, I don't think anybody, not even a knock, but it's like, you're not gonna smell cologne. It's like, whatever, we people. That's what people smell like. It's like, it was so dope. It was so refreshing just to be around like something that's not superficial.
Yeah.
They're just authentically them.
Yeah.
They're passionate about what they're passionate about. And I was like, this is low-key where we all came from.
Yeah.
And whatever we learned along the way, kind of disconnected us from that. But being in that made it feel so real. It felt so good,
That's the word I was going to use, real, authentic, like kind of all the superficial stuff don't exist in that environment, right? And it's like, who are you? Like, just come and be you in the space, and that's a blessing. I love that. Is. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so now I'm going to add Cameroon to my list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So and tell me this, did you do anything outside of that while you were there? You taught the children. They were so grateful.
So we taught the children, and then we met with the officials that for the State Department, and met different leaders and chiefs of different villages and stuff like that.
Dope.
I will say I got in trouble because I was being a tourist. I was like taking pictures, selfies, and I accidentally took a picture of the State Department. And I had like 4 guards pull up with some AKs talking about,
no,
come with us. Come with us. I was like, oh my God. This was day 1.
They said, listen, don't you bring that. So what they asked you to do, delete it from your phone?
Yeah. She was just like, they wanted to scare me.
Oh.
And then she was like, just delete it.
Wow.
Like, I was like, yo, why y'all had your fingers on the trigger though?
Wow, like the AK-47, what are we doing? They were like, we don't play that picture stuff here.
And I was like, that's what like pushed me into like, okay, I need to really chill out.
Gotcha.
I need to really, really get a good vibe of my environment.
Yeah, and just kind of figure out where you are and kind of like the lay of the land and be present. I get it.
Exactly.
So what inspires you about you? Like, I'm inspired by the Cameroon story and meeting the children and the whole college kick-out story, as you would say. But like, when you look in the mirror at yourself, what inspires you about you?
I would say, it's funny because when I read the question, I was like, well, I always try to find the light in every situation. And I was told that like 2 days ago. They was like, I was talking to somebody that was so discouraged. They was like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, well, I guess you don't want to do this, but blah, 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 blah. It's like, yo, you always find like a little crack of light or something like that. I was like, I guess I do. And it's like, it's just my natural wiring. Maybe, growing up from my folks, it might have been instilled in me.
Yeah.
But it's just finding that crack of light. It feels good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It feels good when you're being positive, when you're trying to find the good things. Even if you want to be Man, you know, because we all been there. I feel like you know, the stuff, you know, failure in life, it kind of, you either got one way to go.
Yeah.
You're either going to just wallow in it and nothing's going to come from it, or, you know, and having strong people in your life growing up, like my folks was always like, going, driven. My father fought in Vietnam. He's seen some crazy things, and he was like, keep going. You know what I'm saying? My grandfather was in World War II or one. He's an old dude, but he was like, keep going. I just looking at him, he was a pastor, but he got saved in his 50s.
Wow.
Like, you know, just like
in his 50s. Oh, he an OG.
Oh yeah, he lived his life. You feel me?
Okay.
You know, I wasn't there, so. But you tell me you got saved at 50.
You lived your life, bro.
Like, you did. You was out there.
Yeah, you was out. So growing up like that, like, do you feel like you had space to express emotion? And because I get that, right? Like, I think it's part of like growing up as a person of faith.
Yeah.
That like, you know, bad things happen or things that are, you know, challenging happen, but keep going. Yeah. But do you feel like as a man, you know, as a human being, that you had space to express your emotions, you know, in those spaces? Or was it like, carry on, you know,
yeah,
you'll be all right?
Say, you're saying growing up?
Growing up, yeah. And I would say, like, if you even think about just you as a man now, like, do you feel like you are able to healthily express emotion when you're having a challenge, when you're you know, going through something that's hard?
Yeah, I would say now it's a lot easier because there's a lot more platforms. I'd say growing up, I was a middle child, so if I felt any type of way, you know, you're gonna get met with different vibes. You know what I'm saying? Somebody might be like, "Yo, I'm gonna punch you in your face," or they be like, "Oh, you being a punk?" You feel me? And which was cool. So I was like, "Cool, I could just channel that into my art." That's what I did. I channeled all my emotion and whatever into my art growing up. And it helped to just establish different rooms for me. Yeah. It got me into different places. I mean, when I was a kid, I was a singer at first.
Come on, singer.
That's what I did at first. You know, then my voice got all deep and weird. But
I doubt it, but okay.
I was a singer at first. So when I remember being like 6, 7, my mother would take me all around different places and sing. You know, even if I wasn't feeling that great, you know, kids like, oh, she turned the TV off, I'm mad. I could channel that into whatever I wanted to sing.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? And then I got in the drums and I was like, I'll just
banging out on the drums.
Banging out on the drums, you know? And then I was like, as I got older, but we get into that later, I was like, it's too many drummers. I need to find a different instrument. But, you know.
That's how you got into guitar.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you channeled your emotion through your art, and you feel like that's the same way that you do it now, or do you have other outlets?
Art, for sure. Other outlets, of course. I meditate, you know, do yogas and all of that, but I don't worship the sun god or nothing.
No, by sun god.
But you know, exercise, working out, and then talking.
Yeah.
Talking to folks about it. You know, if I feel a certain way, you know, you just da-da-da. People are so surprised that I'm like, yo, it takes a lot to really get to me. So they're like, yo, man, he got to be mad at that. I'm like, I'm good.
You're good.
I'm not tripping. Like, come on. Life, everything we've experienced in life has happened before. It might be different people, different variables, but it's happened.
Right. Nothing new under the sun, right?
There's nothing new under the sun. I say that all the time in my brain. There's nothing new under the sun. All you can do is gather what you can gather from it and keep pushing towards your objective, because the more you spend time on it, nothing productive comes from it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, listen, I see that there is a guitar over there.
Oh, it sure is.
And I would like to know what song lives rent-free in your mind, no matter the season, no matter the weather. Right. And you know what? Maybe I might have to give you more than one choice. But
that's tough.
But like a go-to song, it just does it. The vibe does it. The melody, the words. It's just like a creative's dream in your mind.
Dude.
And it speaks to your heart.
I would say Prince. I'm like a Prince head, but he's got this song called Take Me With You. Where he's like, I don't care where you go, I don't care what we do, I don't care, baby, take me with you. It's like, it's so simple. It's like, I'm down for whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is.
So you feel like playing that a little bit, or what?
To be honest, like, I'm a weirdo. Like, the songs I love, I never try to learn them.
That I don't know if that's a weirdo. I mean, that's like how a singer will be like, I love Whitney Houston, but I'm never singing her stuff.
Yeah. We have the phenomenal Brandon still with us. He's about to play Purple Rain. Let's get into it. Hey. Ooh, yeah. Purple rain, yes. I only wanna see you laughing in the purple rain, purple rain, purple rain. Yeah. Purple rain, purple rain. Purple rain, purple rain. I only wanna see you laughing in that purple rain.
You better sing it. Heck yeah.
Brandon, where can people follow you, and what should they follow you for?
You can follow me on Instagram, Brandon Watts Music. You can follow me for an occasional post, but I'm gonna be more active. I got some projects coming out very soon, and working with some really dope people.
Brandon, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Cup of Jubilee. I hope your cup is overflowing with joy, with light, with love.